Yeah, today we'll discuss the thread. So, what is the thread? So, in programming, thread is an execution of a program, right? So, it is a one path. You can say one path, and you can say it's a independent path of a program to execute a programs. So, in the main threads have six state. So, a thread while running a thread while running or execute a thread must be in the sixth state. So the thread must be in the sixth state. So whatever the state may be, it may be a new state, it may be runnable state, or it may be block state, waiting state, or waiting state, or terminate state. It might be terminated state also there. So sometimes this thread must be terminated because of some exception or all these things happening. So it must be blocked because of this resource is not available, or you are not getting the log in the resource. So this is the diagram. So execution diagrams you can see here. So when you created the threads, then it is in the new state, right? So after new state, when you created the new state, then if it is it will move to runnable or running state. So after it will move to running state, then it will move to runnable state. Runnable state means it is ready for run this, and it is in the active state. If it is completed or run out of methods or something like that, then it will be terminated. After completed this, then thread is terminated. So sometime what will happen, some exception will be there, or sometimes some other thread will be interrupted, then it will go for some blocking state. And sometime you use the wait or sleep method, then it will going for the wait methods, waiting state, right? Waiting for, right? So then if it is time, you are providing some time, given some time to execute the threads, and if it is not completed, then time waiting is for timeout will be there for the threads. So this is the sixth state of the threads, and based on that condition it will go for the specific state. So this is block state, waiting state, and some method notice notifies there, right? So we are using wait is there. So if you call this wait methods, then it will go for waiting state. And if you call the notify all method, then after waiting state it will move to again, so it will move to running and runnable state it will come. So like that it will, this is the sixth state of a threads. So in the interview it will ask what are can you please explain me the state of threads and how it is running and what is this. So you can write down you can show this diagrams. I can remember this diagram, and you can remember this state, what is the state of the threads. Then you can explain better, you can explain the threads. So this is the main state of the threads. So what are the new threads? So when a thread is created, it is going into the new state. So the thread has not yet started to run while this thread is in integer state, right? When the thread is lying in this new state, its code is yet to be done, or it has not yet started executed the thread. So runnable state, what is the runnable state? The thread that is ready to run and move to runnable state. So in this state, the thread might actually be running, or it might be ready to run at any instance of time. So right, any instance of time it will run the runnable state, means right, it is ready for running this execute this program. So it is responsible of the thread scheduler to give the thread time to run. So in the running state, if this thread is there in the runnable state, then thread scheduler will schedule this thread to execute this program. So multi-threading program allow a fixed amount of time to each individual thread. If thread has priorities there, thread priority, later we will discuss what is the thread priority. Based on the thread priorities, thread scheduler schedule the thread to execute. So each and every thread runs a short while, and then pause the prerequisite CPU another thread, so that the other thread get chance to run. So if a thread is running longer times, then this thread scheduler might so keep this thread for specific period of time, and it will give another thread to run. So each and every time. So CPU the CPU to another thread so that the thread can get a chance to run. So when this happens, what is the method? So this is the mainly this thread scheduler will schedule based on the thread's priorities, right, based on the thread priorities it will run. So block and waiting state is coming. So when this thread is temporarily inactive, so then it is in the block state or waiting state, right? Block state or waiting state, it will go to two state. Time waiting, the thread line, the time waiting. Suppose when you fix this time and fix the time to a thread to execute, but if it is so the state is called and the method is timeout parameter. So the thread lies in this state until the timeout is completed. So until a notification is able, for example, when a thread call is sleep or condition wait, it will move to a timeout. Suppose when you sleep, we are using some specific period of time, milliseconds, to sleep this thread. So in that time, it will go for the time waiting. So terminate state. So terminate state after terminate state when it will go to terminate state because of their either falling. So two reason. So because it exists normally, because if it is completed the execution of this program, then it will go for terminate state. This happens when the code of the state has been entirely executed by the program, because they occur some unusual erroneous event like this segmentation fall or under exception. So if it is terminate means if it is completed the execution, then it will terminate. Or if it is on exception, unheld exception is coming, or some uninterpreted things are coming on some other thread and interrupted this thread, then it will go for the terminate state. So mainly in the interview they are asking for this state and explain the each state, what will happen in this state and what are the method you are using, like sleep, wait, notify all method you are using, and the terminate is terminate is the method is using. Like we can use also joined method is there, and in the later section we will do a program. So how many way we can create the threads, then you have a one thread class is there and one is the runnable interface is there. So based on the two threads class and the runnable interface, we can create the threads, right? So even if this state if we do a program and you have to analyze all this thing, then you can do this thing. So in the interview they are asking this following state of this threads and how it is running and how many way you can create the threads and what are the disadvantages of these runnables if you implement it or extend a thread class. So we can use these too. So they are mainly asking this type of questions in the interview. So you have to remember this most of these things, sleep, wait, notify all methods you have to remember. So in the later section you will do a program to check how threads is working. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.